Okay, so last session we designed one small layout. Have you finished that complete example? Done. So I will post it as an assignment in the classroom. What you do is you try to submit your task there. So what you have designed that I will post as an assignment. There you can submit Netflix page design. I'm posting it as an assignment so that you can upload your tasks there, right? So in this assignment, you can submit the work, whatever you have done. So were you able to do all that screen layout by yourself? Right, good. So next in Bootstrap, so now a few more options are there. We learned about how to use the buttons, forms, and input groups. We have another carousel in Bootstrap. So this is Bootstrap carousel. So actually it is used for sliding. It is used for sliding and fading banners. For sliding and fading banners, we use these carousels. So for that, we have so many important classes and attributes. We have classes. So classes, carousel inner, carousel item, and we have carousel indicators. One by one, we will see first carousel indicators. First, we will see first this basic, then we can go advanced. Actually, we have carousel previous icon. We have like carousel next icons. So these are all the classes used for icons and all. Actually, that is carousel control. Control previous icon, control next icon. Carousel control previous icon, control next icon. So we have carousel dark, carousel fade. So we have carousel control, next carousel control previous. These are used for buttons actually. This is related to buttons. Buttons. These two are actually related to button icons. Button icons. These are important classes. And we have some attributes, jQuery attributes for carousel. So jQuery attributes. jQuery attributes, we have database ride, database slide, database slide 2, and number, any specific number. Then we have database touch. We have database interval. These are jQuery attributes for carousel. So carousels are used for creating, sliding, and transforming banners. So let's take some banner designs. Let's create this. We will take Amazon website, and I will use a snipe, and by using this snipe tool, so this is okay. So this is the first banner. I will copy this. So let's copy in our project folder. In our public images, here I will keep slide 1. Okay, that is slide 1 PNG. So next, this is slide 2. I am copying that slide 2 PNG. Okay. Then yeah, we have slide 3. So this is I'll take another one. So this is slide 3. Little bit cross, it is fine. So this is the slide 3. We have 3 slides. You can have anything. You can keep image, you can keep text, you can keep any type of content inside it. Any type of content inside it. So it's not like you have to keep only images. Only images. You can add any content. So let's keep this. I'll say slide 0. Okay. Now we want this kind of, actually this is carousel. What you are watching is carousel. That means user go to next, user go to previous. Automatically it starts changing every few seconds. That is carousel. This is we are going to design now. So let's go and put this in the page, because you need all the classes. I will add a new file, carousel.html, and here, so we are pasting this and remove all this. So at the top, these files are necessary, and the scripts also important. That is basic, common. Now here we are creating a container div. And for this container, we are adding a class called carousel. That is carousel. And carousel contains items. To keep the items, we have to keep all carousel items in a class called carousel inner. Carousel inner. We have to use carousel inner. Inside carousel inner, we use carousel items. Carousel item. Carousel item. So we use the carousel item. That is carousel item. So how many items we want? So we want 3 items. This is 1 and 2 and 3. Your wish, 3, 4, any number of items. Now in this item, I want image. Image source, it is from images. I will use slide 0.png. And to fit it correctly, we will put the class as W100. And any content should be below it, not beside it. And we will use D block. D block for display block. Display inline, display block. So that means per screen, only one will be there, right? Nothing will be beside it, right? So now that is one item. Similarly, I will copy and I will keep another. This is slide 1 and another. This is slide 2. These are the options. But carousels when are not displayed. You see, we have carousel. Carousel is not there because you have to tell out of 3 which item should start with. That means one item in carousel must be active. So you have to go to carousel item and make it active. Any one item in carousel must be active. You cannot have multiple active. Any one item must be active. So we have to define that active. Now it comes. So this is the carousel. But important is, so here it can have header and all those options. Suppose I say margin top as 2 or 3, it will keep little bit like this. You can have something above. The point is, this is not changing now. Items are not changing. So that means still animation is not there. So for that rules, I will tell you here. First, basic carousel rules. What are the basic carousel rules? First rule is so any one carousel item, any one carousel item must be in active state. Any one carousel item must be in active state. That means so we have class carousel item, we have to keep active. Any one carousel item must be active state. That is the mandatory rule. Otherwise, it will not work. Second point is by default, carousel will not start its animation. By default, carousel will not start its animation. So you have to configure jQuery attribute. So data BS ride. Data BS ride. So for carousel, so you have to use data BS ride. So carousel. So carousel have to start. That is important. Carousel. You have to configure that for carousel. So make sure that one carousel item is active and make sure that you started the animation by using data BS ride. One more option is another option is carousel must have slide or fade effect defined. Carousel must have slide or fade effect defined. So you have to write like this: div class carousel, and we can have slide, or you can put div class carousel, we can put fade. So we can also add carousel fade. That is the effect actually. Fade effect or slide effect. Carousel must have one animation effect. So how you want the fade effect or slide effect you need to define. So while designing the carousels, you have to configure all this. So here, these are basic rules. If you miss any one of these, it will not work. Frequently, when we are learning about carousels, next day many people will come with doubts. Carousel not working, it's not sliding. The reason this. That means you may miss any one of these. You have to check carefully everything. You need to check you given carousel active or not. Make sure that more than one is not active. Another, you make sure that data ID is defined. Make sure that an animation effect is configured. If any one is missing, then it cannot work correctly. So currently this is carousel, it is paused there. It's not moving. So here we have to define for carousel, we have to add data BS ride. Data BS ride carousel. We have to start the carousel. Now once I define data BS ride carousel, here it is changing. But no effect. It is just blink. On a blink, it is changing the images. Like this also you can keep. Sometimes in some websites you will see just on a blink the image will be changing. So if you want any specific animation, then you can put carousel as what a slide. If I keep carousel slide, now it will have a slide effect for the contents. It is sliding. That means it changes with the slide effect. By default, it is just on a blink, it will change. Your wish. Sometimes some images will change on a blink. So sometimes you can put a slide effect here. You can configure. So this is sliding automatically, images are changing and defining. Now we can set so many are there. So first, one by one we will see. So many options are there. One by one we will see. Immediately so many doubts will come. People ask like, can I have more delay in the slide timing? You can. One slide can be fast, one slide can be slow, timings, everything you can set. So, but currently, so actually we have slide, and usually we have carousel have a fade effect. Carousel is having a fade effect here, fade. You can see the fade effect fade effect actually slowly fades in, fades out. So for the fade effect, so it is not, I will keep slide also. Right? For the fade effect, usually what happens is earlier we have to use this fade. Now recently they introduced one option called carousel fade. That is the option. Earlier, this fade is defined in the old versions actually. This is in the old version, we need to define. Now in the new versions, we can just use carousel fade. Carousel fade. So if you are using Bootstrap 4 and below, Bootstrap 4 and below, then you can use fade. So Bootstrap 5, we have a new option called carousel fade. This is not there earlier. Earlier, anywhere fade effect is defined with fade. Now we can use that carousel fades. Carousel fade. You can define any effect and configure. So I will just use initially the slide effect defined here. Yeah. And now in this carousel, we cannot control manually anything here. I want to control manually, then you need buttons. We need buttons here. So we need the buttons. So generally how we can add the buttons. If you want to add the buttons, so after these carousel items, these are the 3 items. As I told you, item can be anything. That means you are having some image. Instead of image, you can have some heading. So here Amazon shopping something 50% off on electronics, something like this I defined. This is the first one. And after that, the second item will be text. You can have text, you can have image, you can have anything. You know how to keep it center alignment and all, everything you can add. Even we can keep a button, user can click on the button, it can handle the interaction. With JavaScript, more what we can do is when mouse is over, we can pause it. I showed you on MarkU. When we designed MarkU, mouse over, we can pause, we can handle. So many things we can do with JavaScript. So initially, carousel means it's not just only image. You can keep anything there. You can keep anything there. So a heading, a image, anything. But we want to control it manually. To control it manually, what we are doing here, so in the carousel inner, I am adding a button. This is one button and this is another button. 2 buttons are there. One button for previous, another button for next. So here the buttons for carousel are defined as, so we have carousel control. So control, this is previous, that is previous button. And this is class carousel control next. We have 2 buttons, previous button, next button. For buttons, we use these previous and next. But that button should have some text or icon previous. So then here we have to put a span inside the button. It will have carousel previous icon. Previous icon will be there. And this will have a span. This is carousel next icon. It will have carousel next icon. So because buttons are empty, so buttons will not have any by default symbol. So you have to put some previous symbol, next symbol. So that is carousel buttons will be there. Now you can see buttons are there. You see the previous button and next buttons are there. So buttons are added towards the left and right of the carousels. automatically we have these buttons. This is previous button, this is the next. So these are carousel buttons. Your wish, you can add button classes, btn, btn primary, btn danger, so it will display accordingly, right? So many times people ask, can I change symbol? You can change it. You have, I kept a span. Inside the span you can put anything, any symbol you can keep, any text you can keep, you can write previous, next words, because they are just buttons. So you remove the carousel button class and you put your own button classes. You can work like a ordinary button on your wish, you can define that. So now these buttons are not working actually. So that means I click the previous, it's not working. I click on next, that's not working. So we need to make them work on click, they have to work. So for that, this carousel must have an ID. ID I will give as banner. So that is the carousel, because in a page there can be several carousels. Yesterday you saw Netflix, in that they used so many carousels. Carousel means don't think that it will be entire page. In a small box also they can put a carousel. Width and height, your wish. You put a small box, in that some images they can be changing. That's what you saw in Netflix page. In the Netflix page, here you saw actually yeah, you can see this is also carousel like. So but important here, it is using fade effect. It is using fade effect. By using fade effect, it is changing the image there. But I told you they use a different component, not Bootstrap, right? They have their own component. They use React material components. But that is only in that box. How you can design like that in that box, that you can do with your CSS knowledge, right? You can put a box with height, width, in that only carousel can work. That's your wish, you can configure initially. So here, how do we make them work now? So just simple, what we have to do now, this button data bs, data bs, we have target. It should work for banner. This button also should work for data bs target. Target is banner, hash banner. Banner is referring to carousel. Now this button should work for previous, and this button should work for next. Then we have to use another attribute, data slide. So data slide, data bs slide, data bs slide. Slide to what? We have to write previous. And here we need to write another data bs slide. Slide to what? So it should slide to next. We have to use the values previous and next. So previous and next, that is the slide option. That means when button is clicked, so in this carousel, banner carousel, it will slide to previous and it will slide to next. So these are the options we designed. So this will slide to next and this will slide to previous. On the button click, it will go to the next. I can click on next and I can click on previous. So we can go back. That means on button click, they are working. So on button click, it is working. Suppose here the second slide, I will make it as 3. Slide 3. You can see this is the first one. Refresh. This is the second one. This is the third one. It is displaying the slides. So here, when you are configuring, this is one. This is slide 2 I will give. Okay, now you can see this is first slide, second slide, and third slide. I'm giving all same height and width. Now, these are the images we are having, and it can display like this. Now, this is previous and this is next buttons. But generally, sometimes we put a slideshow of 20, 30 pictures. That means we have a website. In our website, we put an image gallery. When we put an image gallery, people can watch all images through a slideshow. In that 20, 30 images are there, and the user cannot go to specific slide now because you have only previous and next buttons. To go to the 10th one, 10 times you have to click next, 10 times we have to click previous. Then we use indicators. Carousel can have indicator. Indicator allows to directly take you to the slide so which you want, specific slide number. It will take to the particular slide you want. We can use indicators to go to any specific slide directly if there are many slides. Then what we do is indicators. So below this, I am adding a div and a class. I will put carousel indicators. Carousel indicators, here we need to design the buttons. That means how many indicators are there, those number of buttons. There are different design styles. Earlier, people have to design ordered list, unordered list. Means old version. I already told you, once you are watching on websites, make sure that the version you learned and the version you are watching is same. Otherwise, you will be confused. So because you generally have an habit of Google search for online tutorials and watch there, you will be very much confused in the approach, because in a general old version, to design carousel buttons, indicators, they use ordered list, unordered list. So majority of the design is done with ordered, unordered list items, list items. But now we don't use that. Just we put one button. This is one button. So this is another button. And this is another button. 3 buttons for 3. Now here, these are the 3 buttons, carousel indicators. Actually, empty buttons are there. You see 3 carousel indicators are there. That means you can see indicators will come below. So these are carousel indicator buttons actually. These are indicator buttons. So that means 3 buttons, user can click on any specific button. It will take to that particular slide direct. So how many slides you are having, those buttons, those number of buttons you have to keep. So that means how many you are having, those you have to keep. That you have to do by using this class. We have carousel indicator, carousel indicators. If you put anything in carousel indicators, it will take as those buttons. Now here, for this carousel indicator here, how many slides are there? Those number of buttons. Suppose I put 4, then it will get 4. But we don't have any 4th slide. So we have to just keep this up to 3. Now, what should happen? We have to write functionality for this. When user clicks on first button, second button, third button, what should happen? We have to write. So it's simple actually. So for this, we have to use data BS target. It should work for banner. And data BS slide 2. Slide 2, the index number. How many slides are present? We can access that index number with 0. First one will be at 0. Second one will be 1. Third one will be 2, like that. Through index number, you can access them. So that means this is slide to 0. And here we have data BS target. So this should work for banner, and the data BS slide 2, this is 1. And similarly here we have data BS target is banner, and data BS slide 2 is 2, like this, to which specific slide we can define. That means now these buttons will work like this. Now the button appearance changed now little bit. Now you can see, so when I click on the last one, it should take me to that last slide. Is that anything missing? Carousel indicators. Some functionality missing. Carousel indicator. Target is banner only, na? Right. This is working fine. And carousel indicators, these have problem. Let's check. Data BS target is banner. Slide to that particular number. Effects we given same. Some error, let's check. If there are any errors, you will find in console. If there are any errors, we have to go to console. Their error will, acha, cannot read null. So null means this number is not working. Right. We'll do one thing. Data BS target, fine. Go to this bootstrap JS, carousel JS. Slide 2. That is fine. index number. Fine. So here we will add data BS slide 2. Right. And the slide 2 is 0. BS slide 2 is 1. Slide 2 is 2. It's fine work. Button data click is not there. Option is correct only, no change. Just once we check in another browser here. Mm. So let's remove that from the inner and I will keep outside. Okay, I will check what the problem is, but it is no change, same option, right? Some issue is there. So I will check what the issue is. So here, active we haven't mentioned. Active we have defined first item. This which button should active? So we have three options. One button should be active. Currently, nothing is active, right? So we will put a class. What is it? Active. That is active. That's fine. Right. We missed this active, right? One carousel item by default indicator must be active. So we have a defined active here. For this, we defined active, but these carousel indicators by default, one should be active to start with. So you cannot have multiple. One should be active. Any item you can configure as active, the class active, then it will start with that. So you can directly click on the indicators and it can display. Right? So that is indicators. So how you define indicators? One more option is carousel indicators. Carousel indicators. Carousel indicators requires active class. it requires an active class. And for that, what you have to do is just a button. Usually it will have data BS slide to number, and you can keep the class active. Okay. Right. So that is indicators. Now another option is time interval. Suppose I don't want every slide same timing. Some slide slow, some slide fast appearance. Then what you can do is you can set timing for every carousel item individually. You can set timing for every carousel item individually by using data BS interval. Data BS interval is equal to some 2000, 3000 milliseconds. Means actually 1000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. That's how the time interval you can define. This you have to give for item. So wherever you are applying carousel item, and for that you have to define data BS interval. How many seconds you can define it. Timing for every carousel item is defined by using this. So that is carousel item. Right. So that means usually all these images are sliding automatically every few seconds. So then we need to keep the timing for them. We need to keep the timing for them. Actually, so every carousel item can have an option data BS interval. I given this as 2000 milliseconds, and this one data BS interval I given as suppose 1000 milliseconds. That means second one will be fast. Only 1 second time we are giving. And the last one, so data BS interval. So we are defining some 4000 milliseconds. So you can see here now, so this is the first slide after 2 seconds, and second will be fast. Fourth will be first 2 seconds, second will be only 1 second. It will not wait for long because we set interval as only 1 second. That means it will not appear more time. So if you want to keep it stay for long, because depending on priorities, if I want to keep it long, then I can keep it suppose 8000 milliseconds, second one. So this is the first one. After that second one will stay for long. After that, now the third one will come. So if any a banner we don't need much time to stay on screen, then we can change the interval to less. So that individually we have to define by using data BS interval. This you have to configure by using this item. One more option is in the latest version. So Bootstrap introduced a dark mode for carousel. Bootstrap introduced dark mode for carousel. We can use the dark mode for carousel. Dark mode for carousel. Actually, dark mode for carousel is nothing but, so this is the class we have to apply. So we have carousel dark. This is the class that is used for applying dark mode. That is new. Actually, dark mode, what it will do is, we have to use the class carousel dark. We have to use carousel dark as a theme. Why we need? Because generally when we are using images, indicators and all, images may dominate sometime. You cannot see the buttons, indicators cleanly. Because of images are dominating, then we can apply for this carousel a theme called carousel dark. Carousel, we can apply dark. Carousel dark, when you apply that, that means the appearance will be somewhat darker for these buttons. So that means that is good if your images are brighter. If images are brighter, then indicators must be darker. Already our images are darker. So that is the reason for us dark theme is not great. For our images, dark theme is not great. So dark theme is great for images which are more brighter. Currently, we are not having bright images. We are having dark colors only. In that case, we can remove this carousel dark theme and it will apply. Now bright will be there. Contrast will come. Dark theme is if your images are more white. So, and then you can put black indicators, black buttons. And if images are already dark in color, then ordinary is enough. If images are very bright, then you can change it. See, now you can see the buttons cleanly because our images are dark. This is okay. Sometimes images will be bright. In that case, what we have to do? We have to apply carousel dark. Carousel dark will change these buttons indicators to black now, so that it will be good for images which are bright, or it will be good for images or you are keeping some text. It will be good for that. So you can have a dark theme, but where to apply this? We have to apply at carousel. Class carousel, and here carousel dark. That is the option how to configure. Right. That is how we can manage carousels. This entire example I will upload. Let me copy this. And this is the example for carousel. This is carousel. Next, important in the Bootstrap components, we have classes for Bootstrap images. We have classes for images. Images classes, very simple. We have only one class. So that is img fluid. img fluid. Image fluid. And we have img thumbnail. Thumbnail. Image thumbnail and image fluid. Only these two are there. These are for images keeping in fluid style. Images in a thumbnail, predefined style for images. But they are not required every time because they will just give a border and all. Only two classes are there for images. For example, let's take here a new file, images HTML. And here you don't need much classes options here. I'm just defining an image heading. So images, I'm having an image source, images, some laptop JPG. Okay, this is general image we have. That is the general image we are having. For image, what are the classes we can apply? So predefined image class, we have img thumbnail and img fluid. If I give img thumbnail will display a border box will be there for that. So just a box grayish border will be there. Others you can apply manually. Like if you want, you can apply border. We can apply border size. We can apply border primary or danger like effects. We can configure that. And if you want image fluid, adjust according to the size of window, then you have one more option to define img fluid. You can give it. That makes the image fluid. Image fluid is nothing but it will adjust according to the browser window. According to the browser window, it will adjust. It will fit to that. It will fit into it. So that is fluid image we can configure. So these are simple. Only two options are there: image fluid and image thumbnail. So just we have to apply for image. So image source can be anything, and you can put the class image fluid and image thumbnail. That's a simple class for images. Next, we have bootstrap tables. For tables also, separate classes are there. We have a class table. So we have the class table hover. So we have table bordered. These are ready-made styles. Table stripped and table dark. So tables, we have a table responsive. Table responsive. Table hover, table border, table stripped, table dark, table responsive. All these are basic table styles. And earlier we have to use table colors by using a table primary, table dark and all. Now in the latest versions, colors are defined with BG contextual. Earlier we used to use table primary, table danger, table warning like that. Now in the latest version we use BG warning, BG colors we can apply. And some little bit change happened in the responsive also. Table responsive is designed in a different way. In old versions, we have to use this responsive in a different way. Now in new version, different. I will show you the differences. Actually, when you are dealing with tables, suppose I am creating here some products table. And here we have a table, T head, TR, TH, so name and price, some stock, like this we have. And we have T body. In that we have TH, TR, TD. So this is name, some name, and price, some price, and TD, some stock available like this. We are adding the rows. Yeah, 2, 3, 4 rows I am defining can be different. Now, usually tables also have captions. Will have a caption also, that is a products list. So here, this is the table we have. And usually Bootstrap table, now it looks like this ordinary. You can change the values. So now for table, ready-made classes are there. The base class for table, we have to apply table. Table, it will give the table like this. By default, it will be like this. So by default, it will have some appearance. We can add some more options now. So I can keep here table hover. Table hover is nothing but when mouse is over, it will highlight the rows. That is actually table hover. We can apply the options like table dark. Then it will have a dark table. We can apply by using table. So we have table stripped. Stripped is a style. It looks like this. Dark and light shade combinations will come. Even odd occurrences will be there. Actually, suppose instead of table dark, we say BG primary. BG primary, background primary will be like this. Earlier we have table primary, table danger like that. We can now directly apply BG. You can apply anywhere. Suppose you want to apply only to head, then we have to use BG primary. Only head section will have that. So earlier we have to apply by using table. So we used to use table primary, table danger. Now we have to apply with BG. These are ready-made effects for table. Ready-made options available for table. So actually we have a caption top. Caption top, actually caption goes bottom. You can keep the caption top. That is new. Earlier caption is always bottom only, but now we can put it to top. So that is one new option added here. We can use caption top. Actually earlier caption automatically goes to bottom of the table. So now we can keep it top. Caption top we can define. And responsive table is nothing but, already I told you, if you want different colors, you apply CSS. That means even occurrence, odd occurrence, selectors are already we learned. These are ready-made effects for the table we are having. Responsive table, earlier we used to use table responsive directly, but now we should not write in table. Earlier we have to write in table responsive, but it will not work now. You have to write in another way. Responsive is nothing but, suppose we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 10 sets of columns I am copying here. So that means lot of columns information is there. Lot of columns information is here. So I am copying and like this. Okay, put that here everywhere. Okay, so if leave it. So here you see lot of columns are there. If lot of columns are there, then I have to scroll so much. I have to scroll so much, then entire page will scroll. This page should not scroll. These headings, other content should not scroll. Only table should scroll if there are many. Then usually earlier what we have to do is we can apply directly here as a table responsive. We can apply table responsive, then it will work responsive, but it's not now in Bootstrap 5. In Bootstrap 5, if you want responsive, you should not write like this. Old version, it is like this. In new version, what you have to do is you have to keep this entire table in a div, and that div should have responsive. That means in this div you have to apply the class called table responsive, and in that you have to keep the table. Earlier we used to apply directly to table, so that technique will not work now. So now Bootstrap 5, some new techniques are there. Due to that, you have to put that like this now. Now when I scroll, you can see only table is scrolling. The heading and page is not scrolling. Only table is scrolling. Earlier we can apply directly to table tag, but now we have to apply inside a div, inside a container. If many columns are there, this will be very helpful. So if many columns are there, so for that we have to use responsive. That means here, so one more option is Bootstrap 5 changed its responsive style, responsive table style, responsive table style. You have to write like this. Inside the div, we have to put a class called table responsive. And here inside it, we have to design the table, class table. So you have to put the table there. So Bootstrap 4 uses responsive for table element. That means directly for table, we put a class called table and table responsive. Now we need to do it in a different way. So that is for displaying images, displaying tables using Bootstrap. So you can simply apply these classes and define them for table. Next, some more important things here we have, like badge, Bootstrap badges. Bootstrap badges. Actually, badge is also, we have a simple class called badge. So we have simple call badge. Earlier we used to have so many classes, but they are now removed. So we have classes like badge, so badge pill. So we have classes like badge primary, danger. All these earlier we used to have, but now badges are defined only with badge. Others we have to apply by using alternative classes. That means now this pill you have to apply using border and radius, rounded, border and rounded, and this you have to apply using BG. Using BG, color. Color is contextual colors. These badge type appearance also very frequent actually. So badge type appearance is nothing but, so usually badges are displayed in this way. Okay, so here I am defining, suppose, a button. In the button, so button is having a class. So button is having a class BTN primary, and you have a span and a class. So BI bell, and here we have some notifications, and I will put another span. So this is 5, and you have another span. This is notifications. Like this we are having. So I will give here badge. Okay. Actually, so the appearance will be in this way. It will look like this. So we have 5 notifications like symbol like option we define. Sometimes we need to highlight that particular one. To highlight, what we can do is, so this 5 number we can put with a class called badge. That's it. Now we have only one class. Earlier we have so many classes. We have just badge. Badge will keep like separate, but it requires background colors and all. That you will see when you put a background color. If I say BG dark, when I say BG dark, then badge will be like this. That means it will be separate. That is a badge style actually. So by default, the badge can be defined in this way. So separate, it looks separate and highlight the contents. This is very common, and later I will tell you some alignment options. Through that alignment option, what we can do is we can make this appear in a different location now. That means we have notifications. This span is there. The notifications is like this. We can put the positions for this. We learned about position, right? So we keep the position as fixed. So we can keep the position as a, so end how much, suppose end 100. So or start 100, end 0 I given, end 0 I given as top 0. That means position. Then it will go right side there. Now we need to keep this here position. Button is having position. So we have position as a relative. The position is relative. And if I want to keep this also, suppose if I give position relative, you know that position relative will keep there only. Now what we can do is, with the combination of this, we can keep right side, we can keep corner, we can keep rounded, we can have various type of appearances now. For that we will design one example, we will see that. Because for that, generally you see these type of badges mostly in best example is, suppose you see books, table of contents will be there. In books we write table of content. Table of content means left side topic, right side page number. That means we need to keep the content left and right aligned. Such things we can design by using these badges. Earlier we have ready-made alignments, but now we have only one class. Rest of all other things you have to apply by using so general options. For example, suppose we want positions, we will see later. Here, suppose we want it rounded. Actually, we used to have pill like options. Now for badge, what we have to do is we have to say rounded. We have to say rounded circle like this. We need to apply the badges option, it will be like this. Earlier, we used to have separate classes for them, but we don't have now. Badge is only one. Badge is only one. And other options, what we have to do is apply through borders, rounded options we have to apply. Earlier, we used to write like this: badge pill, badge primary, badge danger. Now we have to apply with border, rounded, BG colors and all. Alignments and all, we will see how it works. But initially, this is only one class we are provided with in Bootstrap 5. So that is, you keep in any button. So you keep any some notification span, and class you put as badge. And you can say BG dark, and you can say rounded, and you can say rounded circle like this, and you can put some number, and you can say some notifications like that. These are ready-made badge styles we have. Right. That is badge. And next, in the Bootstrap, we have options. Bootstrap spinners. Bootstrap spinners. Spinners are actually used for showing the process. And now here also some changes. For Bootstrap spinners, suppose I want to show some content here. Suppose in that we have loading, something like loading. The word here, I said loading. Yeah, I given that loading. And here we are adding a span. We are adding a simple span here. And for that class, we have a spinner. Actually, spinner, two types are there. So two types of spinners are there. We have spinner border, and we have spinner grow. You can use any spinner border, spinner grow. So you can have size set to SM for small. If necessary, you can use small. Actually, these are used for displaying the status, configuring the status and displaying the status. For example, you see here, suppose I am adding, so spinner border. Spinner border, now you can see it will display like this. I want small size, then we can put here spinner border SM, and it will keep small. That is spinner loading status we can display. Actually, if I'm keeping in a button, if I keep separately, you can put colors also. That means we put a span class, so spinner border, and we can put text danger. Then you can see it will be red color. You can keep anywhere. You can keep actually text inside it also. You can keep text inside it. For example, inside it, I am keeping text loading, and you can see the text will rotate like this. You can keep the text inside it. You can keep a symbol inside it. Spinner, you can configure a symbol inside it. By default, it is spinner, so you can keep some text inside it. And this is border spinner. Instead of border spinner, you can put a grow spinner, grow, and you can say grow SM, grow SM. Grow spinner is it is like this. That means it is just zooming in. Grow is just zooming in. These type of options are very important to handle a concept called Ajax. When we use Ajax in JavaScript and jQuery, there we need to show the status of any task performed, how much time remaining, how much time completed. I told you progress in HTML. Here also we have progress. That progress is better than the previous progress. We will see that how we can use it. But this is spinner, how you can handle the spinners. Simple, just you need to apply with a span. So class, you put a spinner, border, and some spinner, border SM. So you can apply colors. So here note, colors are defined with the text contextual, like text primary, text danger. We have to apply through text contextual. So that is spinners. Now, few more are there. We have progress, pagination, navigation bar. Navigation bar, we will learn how to design a professional navigation bar for websites. That we will see tomorrow, right? So 4-5 more components are there. With that, we will finish Bootstrap. Mostly tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will finish Bootstrap. And from Monday onwards, we will start JavaScript now. We will start working with JavaScript, right? So with up to this, once I finish Bootstrap, I will give you a website template that you have to design. With all up to Bootstrap, you have to design the complete website with 4-5 pages with sample code I will give. Only the thing you have to do is replace that Bootstrap 4 with 5. So with 5, you have to design the same type of layout and you can make it more better, right? So tomorrow we will try to finish other components. Then we can take a review on all the topics, then go into JavaScript now. Okay, tomorrow I'll continue.